Welcome back, everybody, to my channel. Got me a helper today. This is Grant.
Hello.
Grant has his own YouTube channel, but we're out here on a farm on a Sunday. I sent my guys out earlier this week to look at a manure spreader, and they were back fairly quick. I said, "What happened?" They said, "The wheel's cracked. You got to go order them a wheel." So, me and Grant drove around this farm. We finally found the spreader. Let's go see if we can find this broken wheel. What's that?
It really smells nice.
It smells nice? Oh yeah, you're on a farm. Well, we found the spreader, and I'm guessing this flat tire right here is probably our problem.
We're looking for.
Yep, this is probably the one we're looking for.
So let's look at the other tires.
You want to look at the rest of them real quick? This one looks... Well, he really don't like the smell. That one looks fine. Oh, look what I see over here, Grant. I love it when I see bald tires. That means I gotta go find this guy and try to tell him he needs 2 new tires, right? Yeah, but that tire don't look like I get used too much, so he's probably not too interested to put too much on that.
Yeah. So the rest of these tires look good, except for that one over there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the one we're looking for.
These all look good. That one looks good.
Has plenty of traction.
All right, so Grant, do you think this one over here on the left front is the one with the crack?
Yep. Definitely the one we're looking for.
All right. Oh yeah, she's flat. So I was a little insider information before we got here. The guys showed up to fix this, and you can see right here, she's cracked. It's cracked from there to there. It's actually cracked here too. I saw that one. You can kind of see it's cracked right there.
Well, they can't stop.
There's another crack right there. See that crack, Grant? There's a crack there. So anyway, this is our wheel. Unfortunately, this bolt pattern, I have dealt with this spreader before. This bolt pattern is unique to this spreader. I don't know where that hub came from. In my opinion, there's not really enough bolts to hold this wheel on. This does not appear to be any bolt pattern I have access to. So, I bet you didn't know this, Grant, but I have actually dealt with the wheels on this spreader before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Second time you deal with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so the one on the right front we've already had to replace. So what we're gonna have to do here, because I don't have access to that bolt pattern, what we did on the other side is we just bought the outer blank, and this particular farm has a full-time welder. So we'll come peel this tire off this wheel, unbolt the wheel, roll it in the shop, and then that welder that is full-time here, his name is Scott, does a great job too. He'll actually cut that center ring out of there and weld it in a new blank, and then we should be good to go. And I'll tell you now, probably the reason why this cracked, which by the way, this wheel has already been fixed once. You guys see this spot right here? There's a weld that goes from there all the way to there. See that, Grant?
Yep.
Are you listening to me? You're dilly-daddling, aren't you? Well, anyway, here's a crack that goes from there to there. The reason this wheel cracks is because this is such a deep drop and it's such a sharp curve here that it's a lot of stress. The tire is always trying to twist on that wheel. So the way that you make these stronger is you got to have a shallower drop. Let's go look at the one on the other side. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right front.
This is not the only shredder that they have. I mean,
Oh no, they probably have 5 spreaders.
there's another one up there.
Oh yeah, there's another one up there.
So they won't need to stop.
No, they don't ever stop. I'm surprised they're waiting for me to get this one fixed. See this wheel, Grant? So this wheel we've already replaced once. And you see how these steps here? See how there's like a step, one step here, and then there's a short distance and another step. Instead of that big tall drop with the real deep drop, these are much stronger to go to this style. And all my tire guys out there, I know you complain all the time about short little drops and how you wished everything was deep drop. Unfortunately, if everything was deep drop like that, every wheel you ran into would be cracked. So whenever you see a real deep drop in one step, it's a good way to get cracks. This tractor behind me is probably the same way. See how deep these drops are? See how deep that is? This particular model tractor is notorious for having cracked wheels. I'm sure all my tire guy buddies out there watching probably have seen these wheels crack 100 times right here on this drop. That's just the nature of those deep drop wheels.
I can't feel my legs.
What?
I can't feel my legs at all.
Can't feel your legs? Well, you know it's only like 9 degrees out here, right? I don't even know why. You should have dressed warmer. Yeah, every one of these wheels has a deep drop on this tractor. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point or another these wheels were probably cracked. Or gonna crack at least. All right, you want to get back in the truck?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, so we got to get back to the desk. I'll probably do that tomorrow, since how today is Sunday. Me and Grant just went for a ride. So tomorrow when I get to my desk, we'll see if we can find that blank and get it ordered. Happy Tuesday. When Grant and I went and looked at that spreader, it was a Sunday. Monday morning when I got in, I was able to, took me just a minute or two to hit the data books and figure out what wheel I needed. I ordered it Monday morning, which gave them plenty of time to go get it, and it's on the delivery truck for today. So hopefully sometime today I will see that that blank wheel that I need. A couple things I want to comment on. I know wheels for a lot of tire sales guys like myself are kind of tough. You basically need diameter, which we can get off the sidewall of the tire. The width of the wheel that you need to order, we normally could either get that out of the wheel book itself. If you were to, so like the wheel book that I was in, I actually just searched for my tire size 960/32, and that, for example, I went to the combine wheel section, and in every instance that the wheel book called out to use a 30-inch wide wheel. Another thing you could do is go to the data books for the tire itself. Just for example, I went to Alliance Galaxy. That's a Yokohama product, but I went to the Alliance data book. I typed in 960/32, and I found four different tires of that size in the Alliance book, and actually got quite a few different numbers back, anywhere from 27, 28, or 30. Not sure if I've ever seen a 28-inch wide wheel, but anyway, it was an option. So 27 to 30 are our options. But my experience comes into play here a little bit. A 900 millimeter wide tire, that's what that first number is. That's millimeters of width. You figure this out. A lot of guys just know this automatically, but that's a 35.5. If you try to squeeze a 35-inch tire down onto a 27-inch wheel, that's 8.5 inches you have to make up. A lot of tire guys are like, we do it all the time. Yeah, I realize that, and I know it can be done if you got the right equipment, but it is more of a fight than necessary. Plus, if you were to put that big wide tire on that narrower rim, it pulls the shoulders down, it'll crown up the center, and it'll just make your footprint smaller, and the tire will be the wrong shape, it'll wear funny. So I believe by putting it on the 30-inch wheel, we'll just make everything happier that way. The other thing that I noticed is the 30-inch wheel is actually cheaper than the 27. There was one option where in a 27-inch wide wheel, we could get a thicker steel that would probably help against cracks, but the thicker steel was only 1/32 thicker. And the wheels weigh almost the same. It was within 10 pounds or something like that. So I didn't think going to the narrow rim really gained us a lot. So I ordered the 30-inch wide wheel. We hit a little bit when me and Grant were talking about the shape of the wheel. The DH style wheel. The DH style wheel is not as strong as a DW wheel. Those short little steps in the DW wheel do add strength. That long sweeping curve in the DH At least in my experience, I've found a lot of cracks in that style of wheel. So the wheel on the right front of the spreader, we did that years ago with a 30-inch wheel, and it's been on there all this time and have not had a problem with it, where this farm has already welded up the other 3 wheels multiple times. So 30-inch DW is what I ordered. I went out to the farm this morning. That spreader was in the field. Against my better judgment, I don't think they should be using it because that thing is cracked a long ways around, but unfortunately, the lagoon needs to be emptied, so they're rolling the dice. They're going to use it. They do blow it up every few hours. Luckily, hopefully the wheel holds together and doesn't destroy the tire. Not only that, but doing that tire in the driveway is going to be much easier. But anyway, I totally understand why they're using it. I guess I don't blame them there. But I went and found the spreader this morning. They were spreading on cornfields, and I had to grab the offset of that, and that's done by, we stick a tape measure in the backside, see what the distance is between the lug nut plate and the sidewall of the tire on the inside, go around to the outside, do the same there, and then you kind of subtract it, divide by 2. That tells you how far off of center the wheel is. That's called offset. I'll do a whole video on offset another time, but for our purposes, I found out that wheel is 4 inches off of center. It's actually moved 4 inches away from the tank. I actually measured the wheel that I built a couple years ago, and I also measured the wheel that's cracked, and I got the same result. So 4 inches of offset on that wheel. So the last thing I got to mention, when me and Grant were there, I was thinking we would just torch that center plate out of that cracked wheel, but hitting the data books a little bit, the DW wheel has a larger inside diameter than the DH wheel because the drop is not as deep. So cutting his plate out is going to be a big waste of time because it will not fit in the wheel. It won't reach. The gap will be too big. I don't care how good a welder you are. That's going to be a good inch gap. I did a little research. I found out that the last time this happened on the right front, I had the local weld shop that's got a very powerful laser. They can cut 1.25-inch plate, maybe thicker. I don't know. But I stopped there. We pawed through their computer system, and lucky me, we found it. We actually had record of where we built that center plate last time. So I had asked them to go ahead and laser me out a new plate. It's 1 inch thick. The farm actually has a full-time welder, I mentioned, Scott. So he, I guess I don't know if he knows this is coming or not, so surprise. So it's the weld shop said they would laser that thing out this morning. The wheel, the open wheel, the flat base blank should be here at lunchtime today. So as soon as I get the blank and the weld shop lasers out my plate, then I'll throw it on a truck. I'll run it up there, and I'll have Scott weld it together. And that'll actually make the tire guys a little bit happier. At least we won't have to walk away from this thing. If I could get them to park it for an hour, we'll go there, get the tire off the wheel, unbolt that wheel, basically set it aside. We'll make sure they scrap it, and then we'll put the new wheel on the spreader, hang the tire on it, and then they go right back to spreading. So I guess the only delay at the moment is going to be Scott the welder, and he's well aware of how urgent this machine is to go. They have multiple spreaders. They have a whole fleet of trucks. And when one spreader is down, trucks end up sitting on the shoulder of the road waiting. So anyway, that's the update. I don't know. I guess I'll, as soon as I got the wheels and stuff, I'll get you that. Okay, our wheel showed up. A DW3032H. Alright, that is in fact the wheel that I ordered. You can see it's unpainted. You can see that it's unpainted. There's no mounting hardware inside. This is a totally blank wheel, and it's called a flat base wheel because across here it's totally flat. You can put your mounting plate in there anywhere. I brought a tape. Let's make sure this is actually 30 inches wide. Huh. This is not 30 inches wide. It's only 27. I would say it's marked wrong. Is it even a 32? Let's see if it's a 32. Well, at least it's 32. I guess it's not the end of the world, but this is definitely not the wheel I ordered, but we're gonna have to make it work. Unfortunately, our spreader cannot wait. So we're going to send it to the farm, have them weld that center in it, and I guess it is what it is. And then I'll have to get the paperwork right after the fact. So let's run out and grab that center plate. The welding shop has it done, and let's get this stuff delivered to the farm. Okay, here we are at the weld shop. I got my center plate. Little bit change of plans though. I just got off the phone with the farmer. He was asking the status of it, and I told him we were en route to his farm with the pieces. And he said that Scott the welder was too busy, and he had asked if we could just have the weld shop that lasered out the plate to put it together for us. So I'm going to leave that big wheel here. These guys said they would get right on it. As you can see, these guys kind of clever. They have they don't make these plates perfectly round. They make it so that there's points. It makes it slide through that wheel a lot better. I think that's pretty clever. So anyway, here it is before. I'm going to leave it here. Tomorrow morning I'll come back. It'll be all welded up. See you then. Okay, happy Wednesday. Wednesday morning, here's our wheel. I stopped at the weld shop. They actually stayed late and got this done. Turned out fantastic. There's that center plate welded in. They even put gussets on it for me, which is fantastic. So I'm a little disappointed it's not painted, but the farmer indicated that we're in a hurry. Don't worry about that. So we're going to go mount it as is and get this spreader going. How was school?
Pretty good.
Do you know where we're going?
Back to the farm to get the tire?
Sorta. So my guys got that wheel fixed.
Really?
Yeah, you want to go see?
Okay.
Alright, we're going to the farm to check out this tire. Okay, here we are. Found our cracked wheel. Thought we would stop and check this thing out quick. I guess it's going to be kind of hard to see the cracks. But we do see from here, look at this, Grant, there has already been some welds in it. So this thing's been cracked before. Somebody welded it there, and all it did was just crack more. Let's go around the other side. That thing's froze to the ground already. I was hoping we could see some cracks, and you can. See right there? There's a crack right there. Are you seeing this, Grant? See the crack?
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, I'm going to highly recommend we just throw this rim in the scrap. This thing is no good. All right, should we go find the spreader? You don't like the smell? You know that's silage. You know what silage smells like? That. Okay, the spreader's in the field. I think they're using it. Let's head to the field.
I think I hear the loader.
You hear the loader, yep. Okay. Okay, look what we found. Right, Grant?
Yep. We found
Watch where you
spreader.
step. You know what that brown snow is, right?
Yep.
Here's our spreader. My guys put this tire on. Probably. You alright? Yep. Alright. Guys put this tire on around 6 or 7 hours ago. And I've been tied up at the office all day, so I didn't get a chance to see it. But here's our final product. Turned out really good. It fits on there really nice. It looks correct. Looks like the guy in the tractor is asleep. You think he's sleeping? Who knows? Probably waiting on a truck. But this turned out pretty good. The wheel is in line with the tire behind it. It's not hitting the tank. Everything went well. Hey Grant, do you know why the tire looks like it's on backwards? That's a tractor tire, right? Well, at the time that we needed a tire for the spreader, there were no turf tires available like that one on the back. So the next best thing is to put a tractor tire on it. Do you know why it's backwards? Why? Because a tractor tire on a wagon like this, because it's being driven by the ground and not by an axle of any kind, we're relying on the ground to give it traction. It actually rolls better. It'll stay up on top and float better. It rolls better, won't slide as much. It's easier to pull that way. What are you doing? Oh my word. But anyway, if you ever see a wagon with tractor tires on it, they need to be on backwards in order to be correct. So, as I've mentioned before, I'm a little sad that it didn't get painted, but these guys are back in action. I don't think that guy's awake up there. Oh, he's awake. Look, he waved at us. Okay, you good, Grant?
Yeah.
All right, this thing is good to go. Let's check this off the board and on to the next one. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Peace, Grant says.